Okay, so my screen, yes, student. Yes, my screen is visible to you.
Yes, ma'am, it is visible.
Okay, thank you. So we have done theoretically in theory lectures what are window forms, how we can add different controls to it. In last lecture also, in yesterday lecture also, we have done tree view. So now there are two small applications that I will show you, so you will get a better idea how you can work with these controls. Okay, there are so many applications you can work on to understand the usage, how you can work with these controls programmatically. Okay, using a graphical user interface, it is easy that you can drag the any control from toolbox and you can add on your form. You can set the properties from this property window. You can select the event from this event window. It is easy, but sometimes programmatically when we want to work with the applications, so I will give you the ideas. Two small application I will show you. This is the first application. Okay, I have taken one form. You can see one form is there. Okay, now what properties I have changed for this form? First, I have changed its text. You can see here, generally whenever you will create any form, it will come as form 1, form 2, form 3. But if you want to give the title to your form, that this form is a login form, home form, the form name, okay, not name, the text that should appear on the form title bar. So that I'm using this text property here. Okay, you can see my cursor, text property, and in that I have mentioned that my first application should appear as a text. So here my first application is coming. After that, what I have done is I have added one label to it. You can see this label from the toolbox. This label I have dragged and dropped on my phone. After then, what I have done, I went to this text property, and whatever the content I want that it should display in my text box, in label box, I have written here that this text box and button control application. Okay, suppose if you are creating a login, you can give a heading. Okay, then what thing I have changed, it's font color I have changed. You can see I have selected this font color, the color of text. Then I have changed the font, you can see monotype, and then what size I have selected. Okay, so you can change the font, whatever the font you want to give for your headings or anything. Then I have set the back color. You can see the back color property of this is gray color, blue gray color. Okay, so I have set the three property. It is up to you. You can give the border style also. So experiment is up to you. Flat style, if you remember, we have done flat style. It come as a pop-up. Your label will come as a standard. So this is show you. Okay, so after that what I have done is I have added one button. Okay, this is my button. This you can take from toolbox, and this is button control. When I have added this button, okay, what I have done is I went to its text property, and I have mentioned that what text should be displayed on my button, that is click me. I have changed the fore color of this. You can see the fore color is coming like maroon. Font style, okay. So these are the properties you can set. I have set the back color of this also for active caption color. So how you want to make your button should appear. Then I have added one text box. Okay, now what this application will do, I will show you. You are able to see the output form. Yes, students, you are able to see the output form.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what I am doing is when I am clicking this button, okay, one massive box is there which is showing that button text is reset. Okay, and one text box appear. Earlier when I opened this form, text box was not there, but when I click on the button for first time, then text box appear. It is showing the text that button text will change by clicking the button. Means it is showing you that whenever you will click on this button, the text of that button will change. Now when I am clicking the second time, you can see the button text appear as hello, and the message box also shows that button text is changed. Okay, when I am clicking again the third time, button text is reset to the previous text, the text which is shown at the starting, that is click me. Again when I am clicking, it is changing. So this is the application. Now what is going on there is, first time you click, the button text remains same. The second time you click, the button text change. Third time you click, again it back to click me. So when you are clicking odd number of time, when you are clicking odd number of time, then the button text remains same. You are clicking even one time, two time, fourth time, sixth time, then the button text will change. Okay, so I will show you the code for this now. Okay, this is the code for my form. This is the design view. This is the code view of my form. So as I told, the concept here is to check whether the number is even or odd. If the number is even, that means the button text should change, but if the number is odd, button text should not change. So for that, when your form has been started, here you can see here your form class, inside that, before any method you create one variable. Okay, because this variable will be used to check whether the number is even or odd. Okay, so one variable I have created, I have given the value 0 to it. Okay, when then what we will do, we will write the code for checking whether the even time number is appearing or odd time. So I have done this code for my button click, because if you remember, when I run this application, when I am clicking on the button, then the event is performing when I'm clicking on the button. So my button is this. Okay, so when this button will get clicked, then something will happen. So that is why this button one underscore click event will perform when someone will click on the button. So all the code I will write inside this event. Okay, so my mode will inform me that whatever you want to do, if you are clicking on a button, if you are clicking on a label, you have to write the code inside that event. Okay, so now at the starting I have given I values 0. When I will run this application, I will become 1 when I will click on the button. Okay, at the starting I value I have given as 0. When I will run this application and I will press button, okay, first thing what will happen, it will increase the I value become 1. then one condition will be checked whether I will be divided by 2 or not. That means it is checking whether I number is even or odd. Okay. If it is even, if it is even, what should happen? The button one is our button dot text, means the text that is appearing on the button. Okay, so I'm using the property text here of my button one. Okay, and that should comes to hello, that should come to hello, and one message box should be displayed that will display a message that button text is changed. Okay, so when I'm clicking on the button, I value always will be increased. It will be checked whether I value is now even or odd. If it is even, then our button text will become to hello and a message box will show like button text is changed. But if after increasing I value, our I value is odd, that is else part, then what will happen? Our button text should be comes to click me. Okay, and message box should be display as button text is reset to previous one. Okay, so this was going on when I was running my application. Okay, this is one thing. The second thing you have noticed when I have run the application, for the first time text box was not displayed. Okay, but when I clicked on the button, only then the text box was displayed. So for that, what you need to do is, there is one event that is form one underscore load, and how this event will occur when you are double clicking on this. When you are double clicking on your form, then this event will be generated. Okay, and this event is telling that whenever you will load your form, whenever you will open your form, your text box 1 will be hidden. That is text box 1 dot hide function will be called to hide your text box. Okay, but when I will click on the button, text box should be displayed. So we will again come to button 1 underscore click. Okay, and I will call a function show using my text box 1 dot show. Okay, in the form load event, I was writing text box 1 dot hide, but when I'm clicking on the button, I'm calling text box 1 dot show to show the button. Now this is your practice, whatever you want to do with your text box. Like I have done that this particular text should be displayed inside my text box. So I have written text box 1 is my control, that is representing the text box dot text property. The second property I am using is back color of my text. Okay, and equal to, you first need to select the color object dot which value, which color you want to select. Text box 1 dot 4 color equal to color dot red. That is the background color, that is the 4 color. Other than that, you can implement font also. Yesterday we have discussed the font. You can implement the font also. So it is up to you. Different properties you can work with. Okay, again I will run the application so you will get clear. Like if I'm clicking on my button for the one time, it will show as button text is reset, but my button text is not changed, and text box will also appear. But when I'm clicking for the second time, my button text is changed and message is coming as button text is changed. So clear with this application?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is the one simple application which is using the single form. I have done all these things in single form. Now I will show you the second application where I am using the three forms. Okay, so yes, my screen is visible. The next application is visible to you. Yes, student, next application is visible to you.
No, ma'am, not yet.
Okay, I will stop sharing and share with you
Yes,
again.
ma'am. Now it is visible.
It's okay. So first I will run this application to show you what this application will do. Then I will explain you the code for this. So in this application there are in the main page in the first form there will be two radio buttons. Okay, whichever you want to select you can select. One radio button will be used to find the factorial, another button will be used to find the prime number. Okay, there are two buttons, start and exit. Start to start finding either factorial or prime number, and exit to come out from this whole application. Okay, so if I am clicking on the start by selecting first find factorial radio button and I am clicking on the start, then second form will appear. Okay, now second form is asking me the number whose factorial you want to find. I have pressed 5. Then I will click on this button, click to find factorial. You can see in second text box the output is shown. Okay, so very simple that you need to add two labels, two text boxes. In first text box the value that user will enter. In second text box output will be displayed when someone will click on this button. Okay, and next button is if you want to go back to your main form, then back to main form. You can see my first form have been displayed. Okay, now again I will click on the check prime number. Okay, I will click on the start. Now this will ask me one number and it will check whether that number is prime or not. I will press 5 and I will 4 and I will click on check prime. It is coming as 4 is not a prime number, and you can see in this prime number form to show the output I have not used any text box. I have used one message box here. Okay, if I will enter here 5 and I will click on check prime, it is showing that 5 is prime number. Okay, 7 is prime number. If I will enter some other number, 8 is not prime number. Okay, and back to main form I will go to main. Now if I want to come out from this application, click on exit. My application is closed now. So for this what you need to do is first you create add three forms. One form will be by default there when you will create your application, and two more form you need to add. And you know how to add, you go to this application in Solution Explorer, right click, there is one option add. In add what you want to add, because we are working with forms, you want to add window forms, so you select window. Here this is the window form of Visual C Sharp items you can add here, but in my application these forms are already there, but you can add like this. You can see in my Solution Explorer first form is there, second form and third. Okay, now I will show you the code for. Okay, this is my first form. Again, I have changed its text to application in C#. I have added one label. I have added two radio button. Radio button, you can go to toolbox and there is the radio button option. Okay, you can add 2, 3, 4, how many options you want to give. But because radio button will work with one at a time, means user can select one option out of radio button at a time. Okay, then two buttons I have added, and what I have done, I have set their text to exit, and for start I have set their text to start. Now I will go to the code of both the button. Okay, first when I will click on the start button, double click, okay, you can see the code of this first form. Okay, in this it will, because if you remember when I executed this application, first thing what I need to do is I need to select one radio button, and when I am clicking on start button, accordingly one form will be displayed. So when I will click on start button, it will check whether button radio button 1 is selected by user or radio button 2 is selected by user. So how you can check which radio button is selected? So this is my button 1 and this is the event that I have performed, and this is the code of start button. So I will use if condition. I will check my first radio button, that the name of radio button is radio button 1, and I will check its property. Sorry, I will check the property of radio button, that is checked. Okay, and this will return true or false, means whether someone has checked this particular radio button or not. So if radio button 1 dot checked equal true, okay, so what should happen? Factorial form should open. If someone has selected the first radio button, then what should happen? The factorial form should open. So my factorial form name is form2. So I'm creating the object of form2. Okay, this is the way to create the object, and I'm opening my form2 dot show. But if someone has selected radio button 2, means second radio button, that is prime number, then what should happen? Third form should open. Okay, so that is why form third F3 equal to new form 3 F3 dot show. Clear? So in this way the start button will work. Means I was clicking on start, either factorial form was displayed or the prime number form was displayed. So simply I was checking which radio button select, accordingly I was opening the form. This is my start button. Second button, if you have seen here, exit. Exit button was making me to coming out from that application. So for what you need to write is button 2 is your exit button. Okay, and what you need to do is you need to write this statement, that is system, that is your base class library, in that windows, inside that forms, that application, then dot exit function you need to call. Okay, so when you will write like this, that means you will come out from the application. So this is your first form. Now I will come out to second form. Second is find factorial, and this form will open, if you have seen here, second form will open here when someone will click on first radio button. So what second form is doing here, I have taken one label, two labels here, okay, two text boxes here and two buttons here. Now when I will click on this button, what this button will do? This button will take the value from this first text box. This button will take the value from first text box and it will calculate the factorial and it will show the output to second text box. So we need to take value first from the text box 1 and then we have to show the output to text box 2. Okay, so I will show you the code for this button. You can see here button 1 underscore click. Now we are in form 2. So in form 2 our first button is this button, click to find factorial, and second button is back to main. So inside that the code is here to find a factorial. You all are familiar with this. First I will take one number, I will take one fact variable of long data type. Now, as I told, I need a values whose factorial I want to find. But that value will be entered in first text box. So I will take the value from first text box. So that is text box 1 dot text. But one thing you need to remember that text box always receive value in the form of string. But what I need is I need a number. So int is the data type in which I want my value. Dot phrase will convert the string into that. So int 32 dot phrase, and it will phrase which value, which will be written inside text box 1 dot text, and that will be given to num variable. And then there is a loop to find a factorial while number is greater than 0, or sorry 1. But this is the extra condition, means till how many number you are allowing user to find the factorial. I set till 25 in my application user can find factorial. This I have just put just for checking this application. You can skip this. Okay, after that this is the code to find factorial, fact equal to fact into num and num. After that your whole factorial will be, as you know, this whole factorial will be stored in this fact variable. Now I want to show this fact variable inside my second text box. So after coming out from the loop, I have taken text box 2 dot text, and inside that I am putting my fact value. Okay, this plus is to give a space after my value. Plus is a concatenation operator here. Okay, so this is how you can take a value from a text box. You can perform some means processing on that, and how you can submit that value to some another text box. Okay, so main thing you need to understand here is how you can take value and how you can give value to text box. Here instead of int you can write float, you can write double. It's up to you in which data type you want to convert your value. Okay, so this is your first button. The second button was back to main form. Now if you want to go to main form, that means you want to close your current form. So this dot close statement you need to write under button 2 event. Okay, that means this is your current object, current form. Dot close means to close that form. Okay, so this is your second form. Clear with this? Yes, students, clear with second form?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now third form which will open is prime number, and it will open when user will select the second radio button. In form 1 you can see if user will select the second radio button, then form 3 will open. So what form 3 will do? It is having one label, it is having one text box which is receiving one number. Two buttons are there. One to find whether the number entered inside this text box is prime or not, and another to back to main form. So we will check how this button will take value from text box and calculate the and check the prime number. Okay, so you can see here the button 1 underscore click. This is the code inside this event. This is the code inside this event. Okay, now you know to check the prime number. Prime number means the number which is divisible by itself or 1. Okay, so if I want to check if a number is prime, what I can do is I can find its half. Okay, if my number is 5, I can find its half, and till that half I will check whether the number is divisible or not. If the number is divisible till the half number, then it is not a prime. Okay, so that we will try here. Okay, so I have taken one variable. Now I have taken two double type data type number, prime and square. Now, as I told, user will enter a number in our text box. So first what we need to do is, from text box we need to take a value. So now see here, as I want my value in the form of double, so I have written here double dot phrase in the bracket text box one dot text, and it will be given to prime. Now prime variable is having the value that is entered by user. Okay. Now this is the function to find the square root, means the half of, you can say, math dot square root. Math is your class dot square root function you want to use, and the what passing is your prime number, the number that is entered by user. Okay, so it will find the square root of that number, and that will be given to square root variable. Okay, so what we have done, we have taken the number entered by user and stored it into prime variable. Second thing, we have find the square root of that number, and then I run the loop. I am starting from second, I'm not starting from one, because with 1 all numbers are divisible. So I'm starting from 2, I will go up to the square root of that number, or you can take the half of that number also. Okay, and now what you need to do is, you need to divide the number entered by user with the number starting from 2 up to the square. Okay, if that number is divisible, okay, that means this is not a prime number and you will break out of loop. But if it is not divisible, if your number is greater than the square root, that means your number is prime. As I told, if I will take 5, there is a possibility that 5 can be divisible by 1 or 2. But when it will come as 3 or 4, 3 and 4 are coming more than the half of 5. So there will not be a possibility that 5 will be divisible by 3 and 5. Okay. And again, the second button back to main form will bring me to the main form. So for that, this dot close. Okay. So this was the second application, that is to show, means 3 forms, 4 forms. Now how you can change, how you can add something to this form. You can add so many radio buttons, like one more radio button to find whether 3 numbers are greatest or not, means out of 3 which number is greatest or not. You can add one more that radio button to check whether the number entered by user is even or not, because these codes you have already done in your previous programming languages. Here you need to create one application. Okay, I have given you the idea, you can implement. Now